Today we are going to do a pretty big and nasty carpet repair here. The cat was clearly trying to get out of the locked room and completely destroyed the carpet. It's a bit of a mess, to be honest. Typically you just see them lengthwise of the actual door, but this one has come down a few inches. So in order to make the repair as inconspicuous as possible, I am just going to cut along the actual perimeter of the damage. Just cutting it out in essentially the L shape that you see here. And because the customer didn't have any carpet, any spare carpet, I'm going to be taking carpet from the closet today, which it'll stand out a little bit because obviously the carpet hasn't seen any wear, but in general, it's going to look a lot better than what you see here. So we're just going to take our typical Olfa blade with a brand new, Olfa knife, excuse me, with a brand new blade on there. And just as I said, cut around the perimeter. Okay, that cut wasn't perfect. I'm just going to clear up this little area here where I went off course. Okay, simple as that. So the underlay itself is still good. So we're gonna leave it in place. We don't need to do any repairs to it. Looks like I just need to trim this a little bit further here. There we go. My shears for this little bit here. Okay, now I'm going to get some carpet from the closet. So I'm taking carpet from the smallest closet possible, typically a child's room or an office or something. And if you can, take it from the back corner so that you can't really see whatever carpet that's being installed in here after, because as we know, you can't really match carpet, and if you want to, it's going to cost you hundreds of dollars, and people just don't typically have that in their budget for a small repair. So I am doing a couple other repairs on site here as well. So I'm going to take approximately this size, probably a full rectangle though, filling in the space mist. And two, we want to match up the nap or the grain of the carpet. So because it was from a doorway over there, I'm going to take it from this back corner so that when I install this carpet into place, it's going to flow and look nice. Okay, simple as that. So when you take a carpet from a closet or the perimeter, the carpet's always going to be a little bit creased here. There's going to be typically a buildup of dirt or dust you're probably not going to get out with cleaning. So when you are doing the actual repair or cutting this out as a stencil, you want to try to stay away from that perimeter. So I'm going to go down probably about an inch from it and take the best piece possible. Don't cut carpet on carpet if you're not experienced. The amount of pressure, of course, is going to dictate if you're going to get through the carpet or not. But sometimes people doing this on their own is they're going to cut directly down and they're gonna strip down through this carpet. So I don't have that issue. I know the exact amount of pressure that I need to place on the carpet. But if you're doing this at home, use a cutting board or cut it on tiles or something like that where you're not going to go, cut down to the actual carpet underneath. Okay, there we go. See, I didn't cut all the way through. That's obviously to prevent cutting the carpet there. So just notch that off. Okay, and this piece obviously isn't going to fit perfectly, but it'll take a few alterations to get it in there. So I just go back and forth between shears and knife, whatever feels natural. Right now I'm just going to use my shears to cut off this extra bit. So just playing with it until it fits. Cutting off the little millimeters or hair lengths worth of carpet so that it fits perfectly. The old adage to measure twice, cut once doesn't necessarily apply here, but the principle is the same, that you want to be very careful, because if I were to cut this a millimeter too short, well, it becomes a bit of a pain. I use a Leatherman, if you haven't noticed. It's beautiful, it sits in my pocket perfectly, it's great for multiple uses. Obviously having needle nose pliers on there works for carpet repairs. Always being able to pull carpet up in a pinch. See, you just need a little bit more, but that's okay. You got to take your time. Cut off too much, you're gonna curse yourself. Okay, that fits pretty well over there. Now we'll just make sure the rest is fitting. So what I'm doing is pulling up the existing carpet that's in place. I'm just pulling up the edges to fit with the carpet that I'm going to be installing there. So it's out a wee bit here, just another millimeter cut. Got to make sure that it fits perfectly. If you have a gap, you'll have to fill it, which is tricky. And if the backing of the carpet is overlapping the other backing in the slightest bit, you're going to see it in the finished product. So you have to make sure that it fits perfect. Good. Looks like I have the tiniest bit of a gap there, so I guess this video will turn into how to fill a small gap. So I'm going to take this piece right here that I cut off. It's very, very small, and I'll be able to fill it in there. I'm just gonna cut it to size, put it right here, and then I'll show you how to install that once we get there. So, I use the Cool Glide system. So this seaming tool works with patented radio waves, yes, radio waves. It comes down the bottom and then onto this Cool Glide tape that has reflective shielding on the back. So the radio waves go through the carpet and then heat up the tape on the underside. It's exceptional. This gun is going to cost you about $700 Canadian. Used to be a lot cheaper when I first started out, and it works fantastic. Far superior than the old seaming tools. Forgot the name of them. Where as you come off, you've got strings of glue. You're heating up glue so you can smell it. It's horrible to work with, and these things just work great for a lot of repairs. However, this is not the be-all end-all, and I'll show you as we get into this that I'll probably have to use my glue gun for some of it. So anyways, I'm going to take this piece out, and then I'm going to cut this to size. So we're going to do seam tape overlapping the edge here, just a little bit, and then overlapping this edge, maybe even an inch, less than an inch, it doesn't have to be much. Cut that off, and we're going to install it. Just like so. Watch your fingers on that tack strip. Make sure it's flat, and I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but I'm lining the red or the middle line up perfectly with where the two carpet edges are going to align, because this thing only puts out glue. The camera probably can't pick this up, but just about, what is that, a quarter, half of an inch on either side of that line. And then you've got one little strip here on this side and one little strip here on this side. There's no glue in the middle here. If there is, it's a very small amount. So you want to make sure that this is aligned perfectly so that you're getting the most glue right on top of here. So I also noticed that this carpet is delaminating a little bit. So I'll bring the camera over here and I'll show you what that means. So delaminating is when the top of the carpet is stripping away from the actual backing. So if I were to seam this in place, the glue is only really going to attach to the backing here, and probably not going to attach to the top. So I'm gonna put in, yeah, see it's a little further out. I'm gonna put in a very, very small bead of hot glue with my hot glue gun right in there to hold it down, so that when the seam comes into place, it's going to hold on to the whole carpet. Okay, well, I happen to have my hot glue gun ready. And just the tiniest little bit of glue here. If you use too much, you will regret it. Okay, simply press that down, very simple. Okay, and to install the rest, so we'll do this bottom part. Install that. It doesn't matter that it's overlapping. Well, I mean, I'm sure that there'll be comments saying that it does matter that it overlaps, but you're not really going to notice it. If you are concerned, you can just cut off the other carpet here, excuse me, the seaming tape, so that you're not overlapping any, but it doesn't really bother me. If you were in a nicer home or, you know, affluent neighborhoods, yeah, I mean, you don't want that extra bulge, but I hate to say it, but this carpet honestly should have just been thrown out. So something like this, you're not going to notice a tiny little bulge. Okay, so coming over here, this is where it gets a little bit tricky, and I'll probably just be using hot glue in order to complete it, because this device obviously has to be able to sit on there in a very specific spot. It can't sit on an angle or anything like that. And you can put it on kind of like a vertical or pointing up perpendicular of the actual seam tape. And there's a setting for that, but it still has, the band is that much. So when you get into smaller areas where it's an inch or two that you need to heat up, this guy just doesn't work. So that's where you need to use the hot glue gun, which I will show you how to use. So in a situation like this, I'm probably just going to just cut out a square here and probably just use the hot glue gun in order to seam it down. Okay, it looks like it'll work a little bit so that I can at least get this seamed with the Cool Glide gun over there. And then probably just need hot glue for the end here, this end, tiny little piece right here, and then along the tack strip. So we will move on to installing this. So you'll be going back and forth with the glue gun and the Cool Glide, unless of course you're not going to purchase the Cool Glide. Then it'll just be a lot of hot glue gunning. So just like that, and plug this guy in. So there are arrows on this, So this is where the device is actually putting out those radio waves, no further, just within that. And then you've got an arrow on the front and the back telling you essentially where to line it up. So you're gonna do that, and then there are multiple different settings on here. You're only going to use low on carpets. Medium and high is for different flooring. And then the T, which I mentioned earlier, would be for those smaller sections, which I'll show you. So we're going to line it up with the obvious line there. We're going to power on and just wait. It's about 15, 20 seconds. Okay, and then I like to put my finger at that back arrow, and then as I slide it over, I'm going to line up the back arrow with where my finger was, and this just happens to be a perfect repair, so it's going to fit just right with my Cool Glide with 2 strokes. So while that's doing its job on the next area, what we need to do is use this carpets tool to just blend it in. You're gonna be pressing that glue, you're gonna move it around, blend it in so that it looks good and then the seam holds onto the carpet. So that's already done, so we're gonna move on over and blend it in. Okay. So this end needs a little bit of glue with the glue gun. So we're just going to peel it up just by the edge here and just put in the tiniest little strip. Okay, and then when I put it down gently. You don't want to push it down so that the glue squishes up. I'm going to hold the edge of the installed carpet and just gently push that into place, and then gently with this, because we don't want to squeeze that glue up, just move that around. Okay, now I'm going to start from this end with the Cool Glide, lining up where we need to glue the edge of the seaming tape. Power on. While it's doing that, I'm going to glue this perimeter in with the glue gun. And I'm also going to do that little section there. Gonna need a little extra. Now, looks like I forgot about that little piece I was going to show you how to install. Typically I like to put it in place before you do this part, but literally I can just pull it up, put it into place, and then gently put that down and around it. Pushing it in, and there you go. That gap is filled. Simple as that. It's going to hold just as long as the rest of the carpet because it's been glued into place. So, to find my spot again. So we won't have enough room to do this. You don't want to use the Cool Glide twice on your seaming tape within a minute. It's recommended you wait a minute. I typically like to wait 2 because if you use it too much, you're going to burn through the actual tape, and yes, it leaves burn marks. So in a situation like this, I'm just going to switch it to the T setting. We'll see where we are. So right there, turn on the T setting, power on. Okay, and then just gonna move it over, just like that, line it up. T setting is still on. Okay, and then I'm gonna do the T setting for this one little area down here. It's on a bit of an angle, but that's still okay. Power on. There we go. So, really work it in. That glue that I used with the glue gun there, it's hardening, so there's no issues about squeezing it through. And there you go. There's your finished product. So everyone's going to do this a little bit differently. When I started out, I was doing it wrong. And some pros might say that this is doing it wrong, but the end result is a great carpet repair. You can barely see it. It's almost seamless. The only reason you can see the seams is because we've installed what is essentially a newer carpet taken from the closet into a high traffic area. But that's good, and that's going to last years. There's no reason for it to come up, and in all honesty, I never get recalls for my repairs. Sometimes I do when the animal that's ripped it up comes back and continues to rip, but this seam will last 5, 10, 15 years. It's not going anywhere. So as you can see, it's solid and it can already handle the wear. I'd give it an hour before you vacuum or anything like that, or probably a little bit less time. Sometimes I'm coming in and carpet cleaning right after, but it'll hold. If there are any stray fibers coming up, I don't think there are on here, but I just use my shears and I just cut at the top like that. Sometimes you need to level it out a little bit as well. Sometimes, as we see here, the cat destroyed a little bit further as well. The fibers get a little shredded. So just take your shears and you can just trim those up. Okay, simple as that. Job well done.